Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandan Vraja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jayo Prabhupada Jayo Prabhupada Prabhupada Jayo Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada ki Sri Sri Gauranitai ki Gaur Premanandi Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Okay, do we have the Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto? It's okay, I'll get it from. Thank you. So, reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 18. The residents of Jambudvip offer prayers. Text 21. need that light. Oh, thank you. I think, yeah. Oh, yes, that's the one. Thank you. Okay. Please repeat. Yatasya te padasaroruharhanam nikamayet sakhila kamalam pada tadeva rasi psitam ipsitorchito yad bhagna yachna bhagavan pratapyate yatasya te padasaroruharhanam nikamayet sakhila kamalam pada tadeva rasi psitam ipsitorchito yad bhagna yajna bhagavan pratapyate yatasya te padasaroruharhanam nikamayet sakhila kamalam pada tadeva rasi psitam ipsitorchito yad bhagna yajna bhagavan pratapyate yatasya te padasaroruharhanam tadeva rasi psitam ipsitorchito yad bhagna yajna bhagavan pratapyate yatasya te padasaroruharhanam nikamayet sakhila kamalam pada tadeva rasi psitam ipsitorchito prapyate. Ya, a woman who, tasya, of him, te, of you, padasaroruha, of the lotus feet, arhanam, the worship, nikamayet, fully desires, sa, such a woman, akila kamalam pata, although maintaining all kinds of material desire. Tat, that, eva, only, rasi, you award, ipsitam, some other desired benediction, ipsitaha, being looked to for, architaha, worshipped, yat, from which, bhagna yajna, one who desires objects other than your lotus feet and who thus becomes broken. Bhagavan, O my Lord, Pratapyate is pained. Translation. My dear Lord, you automatically fulfill all the desires of a woman who worships your lotus feet in pure love. However, if a woman worships your lotus feet for a particular purpose, you also quickly fulfill her desires. But in the end, she becomes broken-hearted and laments. Therefore, one need not worship your lotus feet for some material benefit. So let's go through that purport, which is quite long. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Rupa Goswami describes pure devotional service as anyabhilasita shunyam jnana karmadi anavritam. One should not worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead to fulfill some material desire for success in fruitive activities or mental speculation. To serve the lotus feet of the Lord means to serve Him exactly as He desires. The neophyte devotee is therefore ordered to worship the Lord strictly according to the regulative principles given by the spiritual master and the Shastras. By executing devotional service in that way, he gradually becomes attached to Krishna, and when his original dormant love for the Lord becomes manifest, he spontaneously serves the Lord without any motive. This condition is the perfect stage of one's relationship with the Lord. The Lord then looks after the comfort and security of his devotee without being asked. Krishna promises in Bhagavad Gita 9:22, Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam bahamyaham. The Supreme Lord personally takes care of anyone who is completely engaged in his devotional service. Whatever he has, the Lord protects, and whatever he needs, the Lord supplies. Therefore, why should one bother the Lord for something material? Such prayers are unnecessary. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that even if a devotee wishes the Lord to fulfill a particular desire, the devotee should not be considered a Sakama Bhakta, a devotee with some motive. In the Bhagavad Gita 7:16, Krishna says, Chatur vidha bhajante mam jana sukritinor yuna artur jignasur artharthi jnani cha bharatarshava. O best among the Bharatas, Arjun, 4 kinds of pious men render devotional service unto me: the distressed, the desirer of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the Absolute. The Artha and the Artharthi, who approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead for relief from misery or for some money, are not Sakama Bhaktas, although they appear to be. Being neophyte devotees, they are simply ignorant. Later in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, Udara sarva evaite. They are all magnanimous, Udara. Although in the beginning a devotee may harbor some desire, in due course of time it will vanish. Therefore, the Srimad Bhagavatam enjoins, Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradhi tivrena bhakti yogena yashita purusham param. A person who has broader intelligence, whether he is full of all material desire, is free from material desire, or has a desire for liberation, must by all means worship the Supreme Whole, the Personality of Godhead. Bhagavatam 2:3-10. Even if one wants something material, he should pray to no one but the Lord to fulfill his desire. If one approaches a demigod for the fulfillment of his desires, he is to be considered nashta buddhi, bereft of all good sense. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 7:20, Kamais taistai ritagyana prapadyante nyadevataha tam tam niyamam ashtaya prakritya niyata svaya. Those whose minds are distorted by material desires surrender unto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own natures. Lakshmi Devi advises all devotees who approach the Lord with material desires that according to her practical experience, the Lord is Kamadev, and thus there is no need to ask him for anything material. She says that everyone should simply serve the Lord without any motive. Since the Supreme Personality of Godhead is sitting in everyone's heart, he knows everyone's thoughts, and in due course of time, he will fulfill all desires. Therefore, let us completely depend on the service of the Lord without bothering him with our material requests. Yitasya te pada saroruharhanam nikamayet sakhila kama lampata tadeva rap sipsitam ipsitorchito yad bhagna yajna bhagavan pratapyate. My dear Lord, you automatically fulfill all the desires of a woman who worships your lotus feet in pure love. However, if a woman worships your lotus feet for a particular purpose, you also quickly fulfill her desires, but in the end she becomes broken-hearted and laments. Therefore, one need not worship your lotus feet for some material benefit. Om Agyanatimirandhasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshur Onmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So, Srila Prabhupada, I can see here, is analyzing the words in the purport and giving a nice, what would you call it, synopsis, or a nice Krishna. Anyway, order of verses of the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam that back up the point. In Bhagavad Gita, these materialistic desires and devotees with materialistic desires are addressed. The Bhagavad Gita ends saying that you should simply surrender unto me, right? Sarvadharman parityaya mamikam sharanam vraja. That's the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. You should abandon all these inferior dharmas, and you should. The highest dharma is to surrender to the supreme wish, to the supreme will. The word dharma, Srila Prabhupada explains it, needs or means inherent quality. But according to one's psychophysical nature, Prabhupada used that term, psychophysical. It's like emotional and also physical, our inclination. We use those in Krishna's, or according to our tendency. And of course, best is to use it in Krishna's service, which also means following the Varnashram Dharma. But while we have these personal desires, Krishna is giving hints in the Bhagavad Gita how to deal with it. Bhagavad Gita is basically for all of mankind, not just for the devotees. It is a scripture that is also directed to the materialists. It is not like exactly Srimad Bhagavatam, which starts actually, the second verse already reminds us that the Srimad Bhagavatam is free from cheating religion. So that's where the Bhagavatam starts. The Bhagavatam starts leaving the cheating religions behind. Right, second verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. What is it? Yeah, no, but the verse at the Sanskrit. Krishna. Anyway. Kaitavotra is the free from cheating religion. So the Bhagavad Gita gives actually a whole explanation of these cheating religions, coming to the end of saying you should surrender. And the Bhagavatam continues on that. So there's different types of cheating religions, so-called, explained in the Bhagavad Gita. Of course, one is the worshippers of the demigods. They simply execute religious rituals for material benefit. So that's not real religion. And it can be quite, it can be quite controversial sometimes when you meet people with these, especially India is full of course, has been contaminated with these impersonalistic philosophies that you can worship any demigod and you will, attain liberation, merge with the Supreme. Tatapat, what is that? You can do anything and you will receive the highest destination. Very common in India. But highly condemned, of course, by Vaishnavism. Second offense in the chanting of the holy name is that you consider that the demigods or any living entity is on the same level as Krishna. There's three understandings of the supreme truth. Prabhupada makes this point so many times, but it takes a long time to understand it. That when you approach the supreme truth, first of all, you understand, just like when you approach a mountain, from far away it looks like a gray mass. So this is the approach when you first realizations in your advancement understand Brahman, where you can understand that we're all spirit souls. Spirit soul is Brahman, part of the Brahman in the spiritual world. It's considered Brahman. So we're all spirit souls, like the sunshine, particle in the sunshine. We're part of the sun, but at the same time, we're not the sun, right? We're a particle in the sunshine. Like that. We're Brahman. We're all brothers or sisters, you can call. We're all from the same Father. But the first understanding is simply we're all the same type of spirit, or we're all spirit. That's Brahman understanding. Vidya Vinaya Sampane Brahmane Gavihashtini. Pandit, he understands that the soul within the elephant, the dog eater, the Brahman, the Vijayanaya Sampani Brahmani Gavi Hashtini Sunichava Swapache, yeah, the one who cooks, who eats dogs, right? But still, the spirit soul within that person is still the same as the one in a Brahman. It's just like time. You know, one spirit soul is now in the body of a Brahmin, then it's in the body of a dog eater, and then a few lifetimes later, maybe it's an elephant, a dog, like that. But it's the same spirit soul. It just goes in circles. Samsara davana lalvida loka. So that's the understanding of a Pandit. Interesting verse, because also it says, you know, dog eater. We think, according to that, dog eater is the lowest, but cow eater is actually lower than that, because imagine, you're actually eating your own mother, right? But Bhagavad Gita uses dog eater, so even if it's in a low-class body, a high-class body, whatever, the same spirit soul. So a quality of a Vaishnava is Samadarshi. He sees everybody equal, or he treats everybody equal. That doesn't mean that he can become angry with somebody and he can glorify somebody else. It depends on how that person acts. It's not that we embrace a friend and then embrace a tiger. It's not the same. Equality, Samadarshina, means you're not making distinction. If somebody acts in a certain way, you react or you respond in a certain way. And if somebody else does it, you do exactly the same. It's not that you, because somebody is your family member, for example, you treat them differently on the bodily platform, because on the bodily platform there's a difference. That's Arjuna, right? That was Krishna's point. That Arjuna was, a kshatriya, a warrior, and he had to put order, law and order in society. And then that's his duty. And then when he came to his family members, he goes, "Oh no, I can't do it." Krishna says, "No, this is not correct. You can't just abandon your duty just because you're dealing with your family members. You have to treat everybody equally." So that doesn't mean Arjuna could be friendly to somebody else and kill somebody else. But as his duty, he has to be equal. And it's just like you have a family member, or you're a policeman, and you chastise everybody for stealing and this, or committing all kinds of crimes. And then in your family, somebody commits a crime and you keep silent. And you, it's my brother, my cousin. Let's not act as a policeman. No, you have to act as a policeman. That is Krishna's point. You have to do your duty, even if it might be not very palatable. So, to execute Krishna consciousness might sometimes not be very palatable, like getting up early in the morning and chant the 16 rounds, finish the 16 rounds. But because you have committed to the process, and Prabhupada says here, in order to be free from our material desires, we follow the orders of the spiritual master strictly. We do what he suggests us to do. And that's an interesting point in this purport, that you actually do that in order to be free from material desires. And Krishna accepts it like that. In other words, by submitting to a spiritual master, by accepting his program you become actually very advanced immediately. Also, when you take initiation, it's said that Krishna accepts you on the same platform as himself. You become actually very quickly advanced. Don't think that, these younger devotees, they're contaminated and they need a long time to get purified. No, Prabhupada didn't have that vision. When you look, at the question, who's a pure devotee? Srila Prabhupada, back in the 60s, when he started his movement, you see these photos, click. You see all these devotees with Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada in those days, they would ask him, who's a pure devotee? Prabhupada says, how many devotees are there in ISKCON? And you look at that picture today, and how many of these devotees are still around? Prabhupada considered them pure devotees because they accepted the program of the spiritual master. They had, I don't know what that saying is. Birds of the same feather flock together. Anyway, in Spanish they have this, that you borrow feathers, borrowed feathers, like a bird, He looks like very beautiful, but actually he's not the real thing. But he borrowed the feather, so he looks like. So it's like that. Srila Prabhupada, one person came to see Srila Prabhupada and said, now it looks all very good. It's there in the Science of Self-Realization. And he challenged Prabhupada. He said, once you're gone, then how's this going to go on? They're not on the same level as you, not as advanced. Prabhupada didn't accept that argument. He said, if I serve you a plate of food today, and you say, oh, I can't eat it because tomorrow it's going to be stale, does that make any sense? No. So Prabhupada said they are practicing now, they are committed now, they're following the spiritual master, and therefore they're pure devotees. Like that. Just like that. And Prabhupada is never like, oh, you have to make, so many years of spiritual advancement until you get to the platform. Prabhupada, from the very beginning, if you read his diaries and so on, devotees would say, oh, Srila Prabhupada, I'd like to become a devotee someday like you. Prabhupada says, yes, immediately you can become. Immediately. Prabhupada never considered him, I'm so advanced, I'm an Uttamadhikari, or I don't know what. No. Whoever accepts Krishna fully, Sarvadharman Parite, who surrenders, that's it. That's always it. Even the Madhyam, advanced Adhikari or Uttama, they always have to be surrendered fully. It's not like just the Kanishta Adhikari has to be surrendered fully. No. It's the same program for everybody. So, like that, as here, Srila Prabhupada gives this interesting point that Krishna says, yes, there's 4 people who, they come to me, and we should not... the Dhira and Artha and Artharti who approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead for relief from misery and for some money are not Sakama Bhaktas. Sakama means full of material desires. Yes, they have some remaining material desire, but if they actually surrender to the process of Bhakti Yoga and depend on Krishna if those desires are going to be fulfilled or not, then that's pure. That's purity. If they that's the problem is we go to Krishna and then when things don't come our way, we get frustrated. That means, okay, we weren't approaching Krishna in a pure way. Or, of course, because material desires being fulfilled by Krishna, we have to still meet frustration because Material desires are not harmonious with everybody else's desire. Material desire means I have some desire to fulfill for myself, and somebody else has a desire to fulfill his egoistic desires. And these desire clashes, and they are, Prabhupada, in one class he says, they produce a headache for Krishna, because the thief is praying to Krishna, make me successful in stealing all this money. And the banker, he's praying to Krishna, make me successful in keeping all this money. And then the thief goes and steals, and then, why didn't Krishna protect my money? But Krishna has to fulfill both desires, so it's just causing a disturbance. So if we have material desire, we should go to Krishna, yes, and we should be detached from the result. That's the point here. If you desire money, you desire good health, protection, whatever, yes, do it, of course. And that is okay. And Lakshmi says you should not, you will only become frustrated. And that's a fact. It's not that, when you get all these desires fulfilled, material desires, you're not going to struggle. You're not going to meet the, what would I call it, acidic nature of material nature, right? It's acidic, like it burns your skin, right? It has something in it. You go for, okay, let's get the house, let's get this, let's get the vacation, let's get the car, let's get the, and then you get it, and you think like, oh my God, why did I? The family, and there's an accident, and whatever happens, It's always, material nature comes with this, I call it acidic taste, right? This burning. There's different ways how the Shastras address it, but it has a burning effect. So better depend on Krishna on the result. So going back to Srila Prabhupada's point that there's 3 stages of approaching the Supreme. I mentioned Brahman, the Brahman realization, which is automatically included when one becomes a devotee. He after practicing Krishna consciousness, you will see that, yes, there's difference of bodies, but we're all in front of Krishna. It doesn't matter if you're a woman, a man, a laborer, a king. For Krishna, you start at level 0, and you go to levels 100, if that's 100 is the perfection. And wherever you are in between, it's the same for everybody. Believe me, it's not like because you've been born in an aristocratic family or you have been born in a low-class family. For Krishna, you start, somewhere in between. The aristocrat, he starts at 50. No, everybody starts at 0. So everybody is a spirit soul and has to learn the art of bhakti yoga. Now, second realization is that Paramatma, right? Srila Prabhupada talks about the Paramatma, the Supreme Soul. In Bhagavad Gita, you will find in the later chapters the difference where Krishna talks about Kshetragya. So there's 2 Kshetragya. Kshetragya chapimam vidhi. Certainly there's another Kshetragya. There's the spirit soul, but there's also the Supreme Soul in the heart. And the Paramatma Vadi, the one who goes to the second level of understanding Paramatma, he understands the origin of the soul, that the origin of we're the particle in the sun ray, but the sun ray comes from the sun. So Paramatma Vadi, he understands the sun planet as well. He understands that there is an origin. We're not just brothers or sisters. No, there's a Supreme Father from where we come. And he understands that. And he understands Vishnu. In the spiritual world, actually, Vishnu is expanded in different forms. And he expands to accompany us in this material world. But it's a temporary expansion. That's the funny thing. Krishna expands to accompany us in the material world in his Paramatma form. Personally, he comes and stands at our side. Like when you read Bhagavad Gita about reincarnation, the 2nd chapter, you will find this analogy of the two birds. And Prabhupada says one is the spirit soul, one is the supreme soul. And they go side by side. And the supreme soul is accompanying the other bird from tree to tree, eating all these different fruits. And is only waiting the other bird, the individual soul, to turn around and look at him. That's all he's doing. It's just, going with us through the material world. An expansion of the original Vishnu in the spiritual world is actually in our heart, actually in every atom in this material world, but especially in our heart, accompanying us. And he's the origin of the spirit soul. So the Paramatmavadi, he understands that Krishna is in his heart and that he is the origin of everything and that one should follow his direction. And then the third, that's like Prabhupada says, you come closer to the mountain, you see it's like green. Before you saw it as a gray, mass of things, but then you go closer, you see it's something green. And then the third step is Bhagavan realization, which you understand that actually Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the origin of everything, and that you have a loving relationship with him, that there is pastimes that are supremely attractive. And it's like coming closer to that mountain and see that there's trees, there's water, there's rocks, there is like that. You see there's variety. So that's the third step of God realization. And you can see the religions are somewhere there, the different religions. Of course, you can't get any higher information about the Bhagavan aspect of the Supreme Personality of Godhead than the Srimad Bhagavatam, especially 10th canto. The Bhagavatam is taking us from this Brahman realization to the Paramatma, the different incarnations of Godhead, and then coming to the Krishna and the Supreme Planet, where we have an intimate relationship with God like that. So, in any of these stages that we are, Srila Prabhupada recommends Krishna will, especially if you're a devotee, you're practicing this Bhagavan, you're chanting his name every day, you're practicing this relationship with Bhagavan. Prabhupada says the other realizations will automatically come. And he cites the Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, that a person who has broader intelligence, whether he is full of all material desire, is free from material desire, or has a desire for liberation, must by all means worship the Supreme Whole, the Personality of Godhead. And then at the end, Srila Prabhupada concludes, Krishna will fulfill all your desires. Don't worry if you go to him. Therefore, let us completely depend on the service of the Lord without bothering him with our material requests. All right. Thank you very much. Any questions? You must have lots of questions from... We haven't had time to talk about my last class. So go ahead, yes.
Thank you so much for the lecture. So first I was wondering, like, if we practice Bhakti Yoga, then all our material desires, we will not have any material desires anymore? Is it only...
No. You will have lots of material desires, especially if you start. But Krishna will take charge of it. He will take charge. It's like Sarvadharmam Parityaya Mamikam. You know, I protect you from all the reactions. Because material desires means you're going to have a lot of reactions.
Yeah, but the more you practice, I mean, then your desires will be almost gone.
I wouldn't say the more you practice. I would say how much surrendered you are from the very beginning. It depends so much how much time. Of course, time helps. You become, it takes time to unload or clean a house, right? Clean out a house. But if you put the rubbish and you say, this is all the rubbish I have from the very beginning, then that is, of course, very good.
But ideally is to go for what Krishna is desiring for us, no? The ideal is to just pray that what Krishna is desiring for us is the right. But
Yes.
how do we know what Krishna is desiring for us? How do we know it?
Now, in the beginning, it's okay to ask Krishna to fulfill your desires, but you should depend on his plan, not on your plan. It's absolutely okay. Prabhupada says like that. We have our material desires. When you really, at some point, yes, we realize that why all this worries about how things are going to work out if Krishna takes care. In the beginning, we okay, don't be artificial, that's the point, If you have material desires, yeah. But depend on Krishna for the result. And then it becomes, the desires will be fulfilled. You will have less desires, material desires, of course. That is the process. But we can't say it's wrong to go to Krishna with material desires. It's wrong to go to Krishna with material desires and bother. Give it to me now. And, And then when he comes, we will walk away. Right? There's one example in the Bhagavatam, and Prabhupada says that he was actually not favored by Krishna. That Daksha, he's one of the famous personalities in the Bhagavatam. He wanted progeny, so he worshipped Krishna to have good potency, to have good sex life with his wives, to have lots of progeny. And Vishnu fulfilled his desire. But Prabhupada we would have to go deeper into the purports there, but Prabhupada is mentioning there he didn't receive really the mercy of Vishnu. Anyway, maybe we should go in, have a look into that. But when Krishna gives us what we, kind of force him, it doesn't mean necessarily we get the mercy, because it can become an impediment. But it's part of the test. It's part of the test. Like Dhruva Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, he went to the forest. And he said, he met Narada Muni, his spiritual master. And the first thing Narada Muni said, go home. Practice equality of the mind and all the, the elevated qualities of a Vaishnava. And Dhruva Maharaj said, no, I can't do that. I'm a Kshatriya. I have this Kshatriya blood. I can't do it. And Narada Muni actually was testing him. So the spiritual master also might test us like this. When we approach a spiritual master, he might say, yeah, why don't you do this? Why don't you do, But if you say, no, I actually want, advance, I don't know, it can be so many things, There's nothing wrong in surrendering or express your desire, The spiritual master is Krishna Kshetra Maharaj. He wrote a thesis about devotional service, and one of the things is there that you can see this pattern through the Bhagavatam, through many, up to the 10th canto. When the gopis went into the forest to see Krishna, the first thing, what did Krishna say? It's not appropriate for a woman to be here. Go back home. That's the first thing. It's totally against Dharma what you're doing. And on the let's say artificial, yes, it's against Dharma for a woman to go out at night and see another man. I mean, what could be more against Dharma than that? But because it was directly with Krishna, and Krishna is the proprietor of every, he's the husband of every living entity in the universe. When you look at it from this point of view, then what they were doing was actually the highest type of love of Godhead. They would even abandon social customs to go and see Krishna. You can't do that on the artificial level. You can't do that, but it's also there. Krishna sent them home. They tried to send them home, and they, of course, protested and said, we came here to see you in the middle of night. We've lost all our respect. We came to see you. And Krishna was pleased with that after they insisted. Right? So it needs the devotional service needs determination. It needs, determination, and it needs acceptability that let it depend on Krishna's plan. We would like it like this and that, and easy way out, but it's not always like that. Okay, thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Next in the program.